So we are finally going to get started by having an overview of how to download and use the basic templates and files of Bootstrap. So we have three different ways of getting started. So for that we have download, far left. So that includes the compiled and minified CSS, JavaScript, and the font without the documentation. Then you have source code if you decide to build your project using less, and you also have the documentation included in this package. And the third and last will be for SaaS only projects. So we're not going to use any of those last two. We're going to use and select the first one, Bootstrap. You also have the options to use Bootstrap CDN, that stands for Content Delivery Network. And what this means is that a copy of the Bootstrap files is stored on the cloud by MaxCDN. And the way this works is that every time a user goes on your site, a copy of the Bootstrap files which is stored by MaxCDN will be displayed from the location to the nearest proximity to the end user. You can use the Bootstrap CDN links once your project is finalized in production mode. Your site will be much lighter and much faster as a result. Now let's have a look at what's included in the Bootstrap folder. We have three directories. We have CSS, JavaScript, and the font. First, the CSS folder contains 4 CSS files. There are bootstrap.css. We also have the minified version, which is bootstrap.min.css. We also have bootstrap-theme.css. We'll see in a moment what it is. And plus you have the minified version of this one, which is bootstrap-theme.min.css. Our main CSS file is bootstrap.css, and that must be included in all HTML documents. Like this, in the head section of every HTML document, we must find a link to the Bootstrap file. So that can be either bootstrap.css or the minified version, which is bootstrap.min.css. So here is a minified version. This is hardly readable, and this is a compressed and much lighter version of the bootstrap.css file. Just like the CDN, it helps improve the site speed and performance. So the bootstrap.css file can be used during the development process, and when the site is ready to go live, you can then switch to the minified version, which is bootstrap.min.css, in the production mode. So to recap, the bootstrap.min.css is just the minified version of bootstrap.css, and it is needed when you're actually deploying your site live. We also have an additional CSS file, and this one is bootstrap-theme.css, and this one is optional for you to use. What it does is that it gives 3D effects on the buttons and some other Bootstrap elements. So here is an example of a template that includes the bootstrap-theme file. So here we have a nice 3D effect on the buttons and other elements. In the source code, we're going to disable this link that refers to the Bootstrap theme file. So now let's see how the page renders without the styling of the Bootstrap theme file. So we're going to reload the page, and now we can see that the 3D effect is gone. You see, that's pretty cool, and that's optional for you to use. Back to the Bootstrap folder, we also have the JavaScript folder that includes bootstrap.js and also the minified version, which is bootstrap.min.js. In the last folder, we have the font, and if you are familiar with Bootstrap 2, the biggest difference between Bootstrap 2 and Bootstrap 3 is the use of font files instead of flat images to showcase various image icons, and this has a couple of advantages. So first, it consumes less bandwidth, and that speeds up the site, and also the font icons are responsive and resizable as a result. So those fonts are provided free of cost as part of the Bootstrap package, so that's pretty cool. We'll have a chance to look at them a little bit later again, and we're going to use some of them in our design.